Scramble, Dan and Eric Hansen, Claire, our producer David. Claire out. She got a sick kid today. Typically at this time of the morning, we bring you news. But instead of bringing news, we're bringing you a news person, a news anchor. It is Bruce Aune Day, and Bruce Aune joins us on the Morning Scramble this morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
I'm
Bruce.
up. I can't believe it.
I'm digging the T-shirt, by the way.
Yeah, I had to wear that.
It's kind of a big deal. Ron
And people
Burgundy.
can see this too, right?
People can see this. We are Facebook Live right now on the Z102.9 Facebook page.
Anchor Bruce Aune, your final newscast coming up this Friday, the 6th. When did you officially announce? We're trying to remember when the retirement was announced.
It was last July.
Last July,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
I thought it was like November or earlier, but last
Way
July.
too soon for it to feel real yet.
It's really shot by. I can't
Yeah.
believe how fast that time has gone.
So you move into this last week, and I've been talking a lot about reflections of high school. We did a lot of stuff with high school students
High
over the
school,
weekend.
I can't remember that.
I don't want to go back that far,
Okay.
but 30 plus years of broadcast television. What are some of the moments that really stand out for you, whether in this market or somewhere else?
Oh, there are so many,
How do you
many.
pick?
Wow, it's the one thing that I've really appreciated at TV9 is the travel that I've had. They have sent me to, well, it was the Soviet Union the first time I went there.
Wow.
3 times.
Mhm.
The third time was way out in Siberia, beyond Lake.
Was that a one-way ticket or a return ticket? Like they wanted you to come back?
No, they got me the return ticket.
Okay, good.
I almost cashed it in at one. No, I'm kidding. But way out beyond Lake Baikal and what they called Upper Mongolia is where I was.
Wow.
Went to China 3 times, to Japan. We were on a mission trip to Guatemala a few years ago, so I got a couple of stories in down there.
That's awesome.
So that's a big thing. Also covering presidential campaigns. Rode on the Clinton bus tour from St. Louis to the Twin Cities in '92, and then a couple of months later flew on Air Force One with President Bush, the first President Bush.
That's awesome.
And got to interview him. Had an invitation from the White House. There were 4 journalists in the country who were invited to come to the White House to interview President Obama, and that was quite an experience.
What an honor, right?
Really. And then there are the stories, what we often call the dark side of life, the floods here in Cedar Rapids.
Right, I was going to ask where the flood kind of falls in that list.
That was a huge story to cover. The shootings in 1991 at the University of Iowa, the graduate student from China who shot and killed 5 people.
Yeah, I was on campus on a CAM bus, and then remember getting into my dorm, and I'm sure 9 was the first thing I turned on and saw that. You'd heard some. This is pre-cell phone, pre-texting too, right? Pre-emergency messages. That was the source of it. What are the old stories you like to tell, whether around the office or when people come up to you and like tell us a story from the good old days? Is there one that pops back up? Maybe the day the teleprompter went down, or I've got the story, one of my old radio days when a ceiling tile fell and hit me on the head while I was broadcasting.
We've had a couple of times in the old studio where lights exploded, and Denny Frary, our old meteorologist, who actually is younger than I am, so I shouldn't call him old, he noticed, he said, Bruce, kind of took you back to your Army days. You almost were under the desk there. But so that's always quite a jolt because it's like a huge explosion.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
And luckily we don't have those lights anymore. But, there's so, Beth Malicki and I were talking about this just the other day, that so many things that we look back at as funny stories, if you don't understand broadcasting to someone outside of the business, they're not that funny. They don't really.
More inside jokes than stories you can tell.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Bruce, I'm sure you're going to have so many things to pick from, but if there's one thing that you're going to miss the most from doing what you do now, like what's that one thing?
Oh, I think the people at work it's always been a great place to work. We have a good time in the newscast. People get along. You hear stories all the time about newsrooms where people are
kind of button heads.
Yeah, and there have been a couple times where there have been a few personality clashes here and there, but most of the time everyone gets along so well, and that's makes it a pleasant place to come to work to every day. I'm going to miss people around Eastern Iowa, although we're not leaving. My wife Darcy's here in the studio with us, but we're staying here.
Yeah.
But it's fun to get out, and we have the summer series, Our Town, where we get around and we meet people in different communities, and that's always fun just to get out and meet people. So I'm going to miss that too.
Yeah.
a lot of the, like I said, covering the dark side of life, I'm not really going to miss that so much.
Sure.
That's got to be the tough part, too, because a lot of that, you're prepared for a newscast, but you don't know whether it's going to be a campus shooting, a 9/11 incident, or you look at the floods. I mean, we had a little bit of warning, but then that all kind of came crashing down all at once.
Yeah.
You've got to be ready to go on a drop of a dime. Now, as we look to the sports side of things, big old fish, Mr. Campbell, he still comes back. So do you see yourself maybe doing a report every once in a while?
Right now, I'm saying to myself, no.
No. Okay.
Who knows what lies down the road?
Well, speaking of that, as we speak with the guy that puts Bruce Aune and Bruce Aune Day, Bruce Aune, our special guest on the Morning Scramble, Bruce and Darcy, Anchored and Unplugged, you've got a story that you're developing on a Facebook page. You've got like a trip that you're going on as soon as that camera turns off. Tell us a little bit about these next journeys for Bruce and Darcy.
We are leading a group to Israel in April. We leave April 8th, and we're really looking forward to that. And the station is now sponsoring these trips again, where we lead a group to different parts of the country and the different parts of the world even. And they asked us to lead one to Portugal coming up in October. So we're advertising that now also. So people might be a little confused when I retire and then all of a sudden they see Bruce and Darcy with this little
you
promotional
become a travel
thing again.
Agent of sorts, a tour guide.
Right. But we both really enjoy traveling, and we have some wonderful, wonderful people who've gone with us on these trips. We've gone to Ireland and to Alaska in the last year and a half, the two of us leading these groups. And boy, just wonderful, fantastic people.
First broadcast was when with TV9?
March 10th, 1986, the 6 o'clock news.
Wow.
So we didn't have a 5 o'clock then.
No. And let's wrap on that, too. It's got to be an industry that has changed so much for you.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm sure you go back to that first broadcast and you go to how things are different now, and whether we're talking, doing a newscast you can probably do just with a cell phone to how the technology has changed. Kind of walk us through that path a little bit.
Well, when I started in TV, we were still shooting film and working with manual typewriters. And so the big development back then was just going to videotape. Film was really restrictive because you could only use it once.
Right.
And usually they gave me 100 feet of film. I was doing sports back then up in Minnesota, and 100 feet of film to go out and shoot a hockey game or a football game or something is nothing.
Yeah.
It's like 2 minutes and 47 seconds, I think it is.
So you kind of knew how much footage you could get based on the length of the film they gave you.
Right.
Wow.
And then it was always encouraging when you're in after being out covering something, and I'm in with my two-finger typing on the manual typewriter, and the photographer walks in and goes, "The processor just ate your film." Well, there goes my film for whatever it was.
Right.
So videotape was a huge development when we went to that, because we could, first of all, you could reuse it.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is we could expand an interview a little bit. When you're going out with 100 feet of film, you could only get in 2, maybe 3 questions in an interview. So you really had to focus on exactly what you were asking for the story. And now I could expand that a little bit and go out 20 minutes on an interview or something.
Wow.
And then there was the microwave development where we could do live shots. Satellite came along, which was a huge development, because that literally opened up the world for us. We could go anywhere with satellite shots. Mm-hmm. Now today we have our live units, instead of going out with a van and setting up a microwave signal and stringing out cable from here to wherever you're reporting. Now we've got these little backpacks that they use.
It's just getting smaller and quicker.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like, the cameras are getting smaller. Everything's getting more compact and easier to use. Mm-hmm. Even videotape was a little difficult at first because the cameras were big, and then you had a cable that took you down to the big recording unit. So you had to carry that around with you all the time. So everything is getting more compact all the time.
So we made you get up early for a Monday morning. Typically, what time would you be getting up on a regular day?
Probably about another 45 minutes or so.
So what are you going to do then come Monday the 9th at about, what time would you normally then go into work about that time?
I usually go in about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
So 2 o'clock Monday the 9th, what does it bring Bruce Aune?
Well, we are going out of town for a little bit.
Okay, you already have something planned.
Yes, we're going to go.
Perfect.
And just
Good for you.
To be honest, Darcy was planning this big party for me, and I could sense that it was starting to stress her out a little bit. And it sounded fantastic what they were putting together, but I said, I really don't need a party. I think I'd rather just get on a plane with the two of us, and just go somewhere for a few days.
Oh, so how fun.
We're going to do that.
Deserve it.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. A face I've seen around the dinner table. It's going to sound weird, but in the bedroom, at breakfast every once in a while when you're filling in, even on a weekend here and there. Bruce Aune retiring officially on Friday as we celebrate Bruce Aune Day today. Thank you so much for coming in. It was our pleasure having you this morning.
Oh, it's great being here.
Thank you. Congratulations on the retirement.
Thank you very much.